Hey friends, Ash here with Gents coming at you guys with another week in fragrance. Now this week I don't have as many new releases as usual, but I do have some interesting things to talk about, including the 10th anniversary bottle or edition, if you want to call it that, of Creed's Aventis, 4 new homage fragrances, which I have done a first impression on, but I've got a little more information on those, so I'll really rifle quickly through those. A new John Varvatos release, so John Varvatos not dead, at least fragrance wise, and more. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let's jump into this. Okay guys, first things first, let's talk about those new homage fragrances and just get this done with really quickly. They are Enclave, Meander, Assure, and Crimson Rocks. Like I said, I've done a first impression on those, but I have some information notes-wise. We'll start off with Enclave. This is the one that I found the most interesting, at least as far as men's fragrances go. It does have a similarity to Creation E by Raja Parfums, and for me that becomes more evident the longer it stays on your skin. But let's not talk anymore about that. Let's check out these notes. A top of cardamom, spearmint, pink pepper, and cinnamon, a mid of rose absolute, patchouli, frankincense, and vetiver, and a base of amber extreme and labdanum. Now it's possible that I could be missing a note here or there on that fragrance, but that's what I'm finding as of right now. Next up, let's talk about Meander. Now this one is technically being marketed as a unisex fragrance, but the bottle that it's coming in is the Homage Man style bottle. So I guess that means it leans more toward the masculine side of things. Now this one has a top of frankincense, carrot, pink pepper, and black pepper, a mid of orris root, rose absolute, cypriol, and jonquil absolute, and then a base of incense, Javanese vetiver, and sandalwood. Now you may be thinking, what is jonquil? And apparently it's just a type of flower, narcissus flower. Next up, Assure, and this one is for women. It has a top of pink pepper, cardamom, and curcuma leaf, and I'm seeing a lot of pink pepper here. A mid of jasmine, solar notes, and rose, and a base of ambergris, frankincense, and sandalwood. Last one, Crimson Rocks. This one is also being marketed as a unisex fragrance, but is coming in the woman bottle. So this one a little more feminine. It has a top of pink pepper, again, a mid of rose essential and rose ultimate extract, and a base of oak wood, atlas cedar, and vetiver. And I do believe there is a note missing there. I believe there's at least one note missing there. I think it has cinnamon, but I could be wrong. I think it does though. So there we go. Those are your 4 new homage releases. Like I said, I have done a first impression on those fragrances. Next up, let's talk about Versace. Now, there's not a new men's release announced yet, but I think that there's one coming, and I'll tell you why. I think there's going to be a flanker to Dylan Blue announced in the very near future. And the reason for that is because there's a new women's Versace. Versace Dylan Turquoise. Yeah, so it's a flanker for women for their Dylan Blue line, but nothing for men announced yet. That being said, I don't think, considering how popular Dylan Blue is, that they're going to release a women's flanker and not a men's. So even though as of this video, there's not a men's flanker announced yet, I think there will be pretty soon. It is a little odd, the timing on this one, because it's being announced as essentially a summertime fragrance right at the absolute tail end of summer. So by the time this actually hits, it's gonna be fall. I'll read off the notes really quickly for the women's release, just to give you an idea of what direction they're taking with this one. It's got a top of lemon, tangerine, and pink pepper, mid of freesia, jasmine, guava, black currant, and a base of musk, cedar, and woody notes. So as you can see there, really kind of a fruity type fragrance, summer type scent. So I imagine in the near future, we're gonna see a new Dylan Blue, or maybe Dylan Turquoise for men. Okay, now let's talk about Creed Aventus 10th anniversary bottle. Yeah, so I actually saw this online maybe a month ago. It's been a while. Somebody had posted pictures of the bottle saying that they were doing a 10th anniversary release. I didn't talk about it then, but now that it's been made official and it's all over the place, I figure, why not? So you can see the bottle right here. And I personally do not think it looks very good. I'm not a fan at all. It looks like kind of a green Irish tweed bottle with a tacky 10th anniversary like logo right there on the front with all these white triangles for some reason, and then a silver mountain water cap. It's just really kind of thrown together. I don't think it looks good. Now, there is a possibility that the batch of Aventis that goes into these bottles, or some of the batches, because I imagine it's going to be multiple batches that end up getting put into these, will be down the road, years from now, considered a holy grail batch. And then these 10th anniversary bottles will end up going for a lot of money. And if you've ever looked up some of the grail batches of Aventis, the most sought after batches of Aventis, you know what I'm talking about. Those can get crazy expensive. Now, obviously, that would be years down the road, and who knows if any of these do achieve that kind of grail status, but it's something to keep in mind, I guess. Now, as far as the fragrance, it's just Aventis. It's Aventis in a new bottle. And like I said, frankly, a bottle that's not all that great looking. If you're a collector of Aventis, though, I'm sure you'll want this. I'll read you a little bit from Creed here, the way that they're describing this bottle, because they certainly think much more highly of the bottle than I do, and that's fair enough. Creed Aventis celebrates the 10th anniversary of the emblematic perfume. Aventis is dressed in a brand new metallic design with historical motifs. The design of the sewing ribbon present on this limited edition refers to the house's historical know-how as a master tailor. The silver cap recalls the brand's powerful heritage. A true collector's item, Aventis is inspired by the tragic life of a historic emperor who represents greatness, virility, and success. So there we go, Creed Aventis 10th Anniversary Edition. Make sure to pick your collector's bottle up today, or whenever it goes on sale. Next up, let's talk about that new John Varvatos 20, stylized as Roman numerals XX. Now, I talked about this a little bit. I know some other people have talked about it on forums, on other YouTube channels, but John Varvatos has filed for bankruptcy, but that is not stopping their fragrances from coming out. And a lot of that's going to be because Varvatos is underneath Estee Lauder, and they make money for them, so they're not going anywhere. Let's go ahead and read what Varvatos has to say about this one. John Varvatos 20 marks the brand's 20th anniversary and celebrates 20 years of style and music. The new John Varvatos fragrance is a woody, oriental composition. Put on your double-breasted jacket and a crisp white shirt. This crisp fragrance sets a sophisticated tone to go from day to dinner as a sensuous signature scent, even after dark. John Varvatos 20 is a fragrance inspired by the celebration of style and music, the heart and soul of the John Varvatos brand. Bold and sophisticated, this masculine scent is infused with a relaxed yet sensuous feeling. The fragrance opens up with cardamom, apple, and black currant for a bright freshness that is grounded by a sweet floral sea of orange flower, geranium, and violet. Warm notes of sandalwood, cedarwood, and coffee deliver a sensual finish and easy addictiveness. Okay, so I guess time for my usual spiel on all things John Varvatos. Typically, their fragrances are really nice quality, and when they hit discounters, you can pick them up at a steep discount, which makes them some of the better buys in the men's designer fragrance world. So of course, I will absolutely be checking this one out as soon as possible. Hopefully, it's better than the Nick Jonas fragrances, which were not great. I mean, the Crimson one was okay, but the other two were bad. So yeah, a new John Varvatos, red apple, black currant, little cardamom, little coffee, should be good, I hope. And like I said, typically you can pick them up for a really good price, so keep my eyes open for that one. Last one I want to talk about here is Polo Red Pride Edition by Ralph Lauren. Now, this one, when I first saw it, I thought was just a rebottling of the original red in a limited edition packaging, essentially. But when I looked up the notes and I went to the Ralph Lauren website, it looks like this is a new flanker, like a new limited edition flanker. The perfumer here is Olivier Guillotin from Givaudan. So he's the perfumer really behind pretty much all the Polo Red fragrances. Some people on Fragrantica are giving it the big downvotes, and that's obviously because this is a Pride limited edition bottle, and some people are getting upset about that. I'll read you guys the note breakdown here from Ralph Lauren's website. It's got top notes of sparkling red grapefruit, cedrat, and cranberry, a mid of spicy red saffron, lavender, and clary sage, and a base of redwood, ambery woods, and coffee berry. Now obviously this note breakdown is gonna look familiar if you're familiar with any of the Polo Red fragrances. Cranberry is used very often, coffee used very often. There are a couple notes here that stand out a little bit, notes that I don't believe are used in the other Polo Red fragrances, and that's what makes me think that this is potentially a new release here. Now, full disclosure, have not smelled this. I don't know, it could be just Polo Red rebottled, but the note breakdown is a little bit different, and I'll pull up Polo Red and tell you guys the differences. It's not huge, but it is a difference. So in the original one, had grapefruit, lemon, and cranberry. So this one does not have lemon. It has cedrat instead, or citron. And then in the original, there was just saffron and clary sage in the mid. This one has lavender, the new Pride edition. And then in the original Eau de Toilette, there was woody notes, amber, and coffee. And we still have the coffee, but now we have redwood and ambery woods. So is it that different? Not really, but it's a little bit different. At least note breakdown wise. Like I said, I haven't smelled it. This could just be a rebottling, but there are some differentiations in the note breakdown, so that makes me think it's probably a new release. And that is gonna wrap up this week in fragrance. And I'm gonna go back to doing something I used to do, which is discount codes at the end of the video. I used to do this at every This Week in Fragrance video at the end, but then I stopped because the discount codes were always pretty much the exact same week after week after week. So there wasn't that much of a point in doing it anymore. That being said, the 37% off code that everybody used at FRAGRANCENET is gone. FRAGRANCENET killed those off. But I have found 35% off codes, and that 35% off code as of this video, when I'm shooting this, is here. This is the magic of editing. Now, if you're watching this in the future, it's a possibility that this has changed. But as of right now, use this. And if you shop at Twisted Lily, get 10% off with this code, Gents 10. Talked about Twisted Lily in the past. They went away and they've come back. They sell niche and indie fragrances. They do sell at MSRP. They're a legit, authentic dealer for these brands. So if you're gonna buy a fragrance that you can typically only get at MSRP, at least save yourself 10%, use that code. Because essentially those type of fragrances that you can only get at MSRP, those are expensive. So 10% off is gonna be a pretty good amount. And with that, we'll wrap this up. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.